everybody, it's Emily from ARC Schooling, and today I'm going to be reviewing Joe Hill's The Fireman. So as you know, if you've been watching my videos, I went to get this at his book signing when he came to Portsmouth, and I got this book signed and personalized, which was like the highlight of my year, I must say. I am a big Joe Hill fan. I have read almost all of his books. Where is it? I'm going to show you the signature if I can find the page. And you can see he signed it to me. Pretty cool. So I was very excited. I have had this on my shelf since May when it came out, and I've been wanting to read it for forever, and I finally did, and well, I'm glad that I read it. It was not my favorite of his books. I've read, like I said, I've read almost all of his books. I've read Heart-Shaped Box, Nosferatu, and Horns, and I loved all three of those. So when I heard about this, I was super excited. The premise is amazing. Basically, the idea behind the story is that there is this plague. It's a plague story, but this plague is a spore. It's a fungus, basically, and it's, forget what it's called. It has a fancy name, but they call it dragon scale because it like imprints your whole body with this like almost like a tattoo, and the tattoo is personal to you as a person, which is really weird and cool. So like if you're a musician, it might look a little bit like music. A gardener, it might have like a leaf pattern. So it's one of those weird quirks of the spore. But the bad aspect of it is that you will burst into flames at any given moment. And so this plague has been taking over the world. There are entire cities that have been burned to ash because the people just spontaneously combusted and caused chain reactions in other people. And so this is the world we are entering, and I really enjoyed the fact that, one, Joe Hill lives in New Hampshire, so he's local to me, and so a lot of the places he talks about in the book are real places. So it was very strange to hear about like the Verizon Wireless Center bursting into flames, and you know, the world he created within our world. So it's made it feel more real, which I appreciated. I loved the whole dragon scale thing. That is just one of the coolest plague inventions that I've heard of, maybe ever. I almost kind of wish I had it, because how cool is that? Not the bursting into flames part, but the cool design tattoos all over my body. That's kind of interesting. And so basically that's the premise going in, and we follow the main character, who is Harper, and she is a school nurse, and she is sort of like, she styles herself after Julie Andrews as Mary Poppins. She's a very positive, calm person, and she is thrown into this world of dragon scale and chaos. I'm not going to give too much away because it's very hard to discuss the plot without giving away a lot of details, but I'll just tell you what I liked and what I didn't like. So I liked the dragon scale. I found that to be fascinating. I liked that he based it off of realistic things, like that could actually be a thing. Might not ever happen, but it's cool to think that that's something based in reality. And I found that whole aspect of the story very, very interesting. I also really loved the whole Camp Wyndham stuff. All of that really interesting. The dynamics of the people in the story. Camp Wyndham is a safe haven for people who have dragon scale. They're hiding because people who have dragon scale are seen as plague victims, and they are immediately killed because nobody wants to burst into flame. Nobody wants to catch it, and they don't know how it's caught. So they just assume that if you have it, you could pass it on to anybody by touch, by breathing the same air, whatever. So they are all immediately killed. So Camp Wyndham is a summer camp, basically, that is now a safe haven for people with dragon scale. And the dynamics within the camp are so interesting. I really enjoyed that whole plot, and I really wish there was more time spent on that. I felt that this book would have been a very, very, very good 300-page novel. This is a 747-page novel. It's very long. It's very meandering. I found that this is the first time when I was reading his work that I was like, you sound like your father. Stephen King, don't get me wrong, I really like his books too, but he has a tendency to meander in his storytelling and almost sort of get lost in the plot, where it starts to feel like he doesn't know where he's going with it, and that is definitely something that I felt happened with this book. I found that it started really well. There was a plot in the story that I found very interesting, but it kept deviating away from that plot, which drove me kind of crazy, and because I wanted it to stay with the interesting plot. But overall, I still enjoyed the story for what it was. I just wish that it could have been better crafted. So that is something I had a hard time with. Also, I had a hard time with the fact that his characters kept changing. The way they talked, the way they behaved. Harper, specifically, started to bother me after a while. A lot of the characters' voices started to sound the same after a certain point, and I had a hard time remembering who was talking. But Harper especially, she starts out, she's this character who is very much into Disney musicals. She loves Julie Andrews. She wants to be Mary Poppins. She's very positive. She says she doesn't like to curse. She doesn't like to be mean to people. And yet, there are many scenes in the story where she's cursing a lot and she's being very, very mean to people. And I'm just like, is this the same character? And it kept pulling me out of the story. But as a whole, I still enjoyed the story. I still would recommend reading it if you're a fan of Joe Hill. The plot itself, when you can get to it, is good. It is what it is. Every author's entitled to have one weird book. Maybe this is Joe Hill's. I still plan on reading all of his books because I still enjoy them. So I gave this book 3 stars on Goodreads, and if you like his work, read it. If you like interesting plague stories, you would probably enjoy this. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Happy reading. Bye!